Shoot, they won't be my mineral. Label me a criminal. Everywhere I go, they give me walls so they can celebrate my funeral. So fuck them.
Simply because we all look the same. Simply because we all get judged. In the negative than in the positive. If we were to walk out and walk in the street and people say, I've just seen another black man, I've just seen another black woman, I'm really happy because they're intelligent, civilized people. My heart will sing every single morning I get up. But I know that doesn't happen. You talk about education, you talk about wealth. Some of you can be the richest men, the richest women in this room, but you're still black, and they still judge you by the color of your skin. Still judge me by the color of our skin. So when I read 3 weeks ago, there's some black people who are really angry about what's happening in their world. Some of them were throwing excrement. My heart sank. Because my life is difficult enough. My job is difficult enough. Being in Haringey is difficult enough. And that's something I have to endure. My fellow people from that dark continent have travelled all the way to the first world to throw shit at each other. How wonderful is that? How wonderful is that? So, you don't need to beg me. I beg you. I ask you, as a fellow human being, let's behave with some dignity. The dignity that your country deserves. The dignity that my country deserves. The dignity that our children want us to behave with. We owe it to them. I ask you not to take your anger to the streets. If you want to talk, let's talk. Let's resolve it. If you have an issue, if there's a problem, if there's a crime, report it. Trust us that we have the skill and the ability to investigate it. If we don't, then have a go at us for being incompetent. Don't use your anger on the street. Problem Nkosi has never reported any crime. If he has, we'll investigate it. If you report a crime, we'll investigate it. That's the way we should work. That's the way people live in a democracy. Not intimidating people by going out on the streets. So I ask you, because I have the ability to ask you, knowing that I also have the ability to use force if I need to. So I ask you, let's behave like civil people. Let's respect each other. Let's respect our differences. Because I don't want to use force. I want us to work together. Thank you.
Premier jour, donc peaceful. Alors, tout le but de continuer l'action sur peaceful. Et puis, comme tout le monde, comme communauté, commission, après ça, on sous confiance, soit tu quittes sa commission, soit tu ça va te sur la 4e commission, tu as l'action au papa, on a action correctionnelle pour la démarche. Mais tu as l'intention, mon côté, d'amener violence à la armée. Pour tout le monde, donc, allié à combattants. Parce que tu as la violence dès le premier jour, mais tout ça là, moi, après, ça me fait chance, enfin que, Mayoka, pourquoi? Parce que peut-être, rapport final, où il y a réunion, pour ça, et comment il n'y a pas la bichoté, alors confusion au Salema, dans ma cambo de Yoki, dans ma cambo de Rikomandaki, dans ma cambo de Yoki, na makambo torebongondaki parce que demi finale ezaki.
Non, ça c'est silly. Arrête, ne dis pas ça. On dit rapport final de personne qui c'est pas vrai. C'est pas vrai.
Rapport final est pris. Le premier jour, tout le monde a dit que l'église est au Kangama, tout le monde a dit l'être. Au rapport final, on a écrit dès que Batman, tout le monde a dit à ce moment-là, ceux qui battent la confiance, c'est comité, ça n'a pas de problème. Parce que si on va pour négocier, peut-être. Personnellement, on va tout souka. Merci beaucoup.
Apologize for keeping you. If I had not been here, you'd have finished now and you'd have gone home. You'd be having a good time, doing something else, and I'll probably be having a good time as well. But so I apologise for keeping you here. I'm not a statesman of the world, but I do read about things happening in the world. The troubles in Ireland was never resolved by the demonstrators on the street. The troubles in Jerusalem and Palestine, although we're still going, has never been negotiated on the streets. The discrimination that took place in America was never resolved on the streets, although there were protests on the buses. And Gavin talks about the troubles in South Africa, apartheid. That was never resolved on the streets. So unless you're going to tell me that you found a miraculous way of resolving your problems, you're not going to resolve it on the streets. So, by all means, if you think you can have a peaceful protest, then I can't stop you having a peaceful protest. But what I'm going to ask you is not to protest. Now, there's one thing in this world about sending messages. When you turn up on Sunday, together as a group, in your mind, you're a peaceful group of people. That's your message. But there'll be lots of people who don't receive the message the way that you're sending it. There'll be some people who remember 3 weeks ago, and that'll be the first message they receive. They can remember some of the things that happened 3 weeks ago. Some of the shouting, some of the screaming, some of the excrement. That'll be the message they receive. There'll be people last week who were there, and their message would be, that was peaceful. That's the message that they will receive. And there'll be people who are travelling on the buses who will probably receive a completely different message. You cannot send one unified message the way you think it. Now, if people receive it differently, people react differently. And if some people are frightened, and some people are scared because they see a group of people turning up again, and the last time they saw them, they were scared, they start phoning up. They start saying, a group of people are turning up again, the Congolese are back. We're going to have more violence. So one phone call becomes 2 phone calls, which goes to the centre of the police. They mobilise police officers to come to Haringey, because you know what? People get shot in Haringey, people riot in Haringey. Yes, Mark Duggan, 2011, yeah? 1985, yeah? People think of Haringey as a good place to come and have riots and have disturbances. So, although I'm here talking to you, there are lots of senior people, when they hear the word Haringey and the police, they worry. They worry because they don't want any more disturbance. So they send the police. So your peaceful gathering turns into a misunderstanding, and then those officers who probably were here many years ago and seen it, I think, oh, here we go again. They react badly, you react badly because you come peacefully. They think this is typical, you think you're trying to change, and what do we get? We get mayhem. So I'm going to ask you to use this forum to settle the differences. let's talk. And if you've got evidence, produce it, let's investigate it. You will never solve your problems on the street. So I'm going to ask you not to protest. I can't stop you protesting peacefully. But I cannot stop the message that you want to send being misinterpreted by different people. And when that happens, the reaction that you want, the reaction that I want, maybe not the reaction we get. So we've gone through some very difficult times this evening. We've been real Africans. We've stood up, we've shouted, we've been demonstrating, we've shown lots of passion, and we've calmed down again. We've been real Africans. Do you know what? You can move us from the dark continent to the light continent. You can take us from the third world to the first world. You can't take the passion out of us. And that is good. That's really good. So, thank you for me extending your time. Thank you for us talking. Sometimes passionately, sometimes sensibly, but talking in a way. My name is Victor Elise, I'm the Borough Commander in Harrogate. And I've just been in a meeting talking to the Combattants. And we just had a really good conversation. Some of it has been quite difficult, quite challenging, but we've spoken as reasonable, respectable, civilised men and women. And we've come to some agreements which will help me as a police officer in Haringey, the Congolese people who are living in Haringey, and the combatant who are understandably very angry about some of the things that are going on in the Democratic Republic of Congo. What I want to say to you, regardless of which side you're on, whether you support the government or against the government, whether you support particular pastors, particular Pastor Nkosi or not, we have a different way, we must find a different way of talking to each other, of engaging. Violence is not the way. It never has been the way and has never resolved any problem in the world. We are respectful people, we are educated people. I ask you to work with me and my police officers, to work with the police officers in London, and to work with all sections of the Congolese community. Together we will find a peaceful way of resolving our problems and the problems that make you and other people angry. So let's work together, let's calm our tensions, work peacefully and find a solution to this really, really difficult problem. But if we work together, we can make a difficult problem simple and solvable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Combatant, the work, everywhere in the world. We received the leaders of this country. We met them for the situation in the community. As Pastor Nkosi went to meet someone in Congo, and we were frustrated in the community. As the leader of the community, we ask you peace, we ask for peace. Everyone, the evidence can bring that, we'll follow that. We'll follow a judicial procedure. We have to respect the leader of this country. Try, don't put that in your heart. You trust us. That we are here, we try to change the committee. And you ask us. You said the committee that one there didn't do well. I will do another committee. And bring the evidence and everything you ask for the petition. For the leader of the country to see that. We are not fighting against church or God. We are accusing Pastor Nkosi in Congo. The way they keep him in Congo, he's representing them. Be calm the community.
Esprit de guerre. Esprit de guerre.
War spirit.
Esprit de feu.
Fire spirit.
Commandant de la brigade 007.
Commander of Brigade 007.
James Bond Nevada.
Commandant, sergent, pour la marche, pour la protest lobby, est-ce que protest lobby est allé?
Te basengi biso ezali te lobby. En tout cas, oya okende kuna to okende ko kutana to tali boso kuna pona osong sa ndako. Do lobby protestation ezali te.
So it's no protest tomorrow, sergeant.
That's what I've been promised, that you will not have a protest tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm grateful for you not having a protest tomorrow.
Okay. But
I'd be happy if you didn't have a protest at all in the future. Let us solve the problem through talking. Okay. We will not solve the problem on the streets by intimidating people.
Okay,
we will solve the problem by talking.
But by the law, the protest, if it's peaceful protest,
you can't guarantee a peaceful protest.
Okay.
It's better not to even go there and actually run the risk of people getting angry and not even able to control their anger.
Okay, thank you.
Ok, naena loba eloko moko ezali toujours na cadre ya sécurité pour la journée à lobby. Commandant à lobby protestation et kozalate. Alors pour éviter normalement pour protester pekisa mité, mais pour éviter déraillement que ba trouble ba désordre ezala ya ngoto préféré lobby mutu soit boya akozonga tina nouvel ordre to la dossier na procédure ndenge bakonzi basengi mais kasi bobo sanate lumbe mwete toza kolandela. Commandant Joly, commandant sécurité, à vous.